Out with the old and in with the new. So says Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Now, this morning's video, this is talking about the news with this whole big stadium project plan with Ineos, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, Sir Dave Brailsford, my mother, my father, my grandmother, my dogs, my cat, all of them. Everybody's involved. So, Old Trafford's renovation, refurbishment, plugging corks in the holes in the stadium roof to stop the waterfall leakages, or just build a brand spanking new stadium, £2 billion they rumour it to be. Build it right across the road from Old Trafford, and whilst that is building, play in the current Old Trafford. That is. So, which one is it? Old Trafford or New Trafford? Or I should say, SoFi Stadium, the SoFi of the North, the SoFi of the England SoFi Stadium, the self-entitled Wembley of the North, if we could call it that. It's probably, if it looks anything like SoFi Stadium, people are either going to call it a toilet bowl. People will probably call it the SoFi Stadium, the SoFi rip-off. Um, the SoFi Man City fans will probably call it the SoShite Stadium, knowing them. But besides that, this is something that I think trivial, tribal, you name it. Fans are old school. They're not really open to big change like this. Especially season ticket holding fans, the guys that have been going for years, decades, centuries, millennia. Well, they can't have gone for millennia because, football hasn't been around for that long. But, anyways, you get my point. The people who don't really like the change are probably going to have to be the ones to swallow the bitter pill of mass change. And that's exactly what this project is. There's various people looking on this project, various parties. It's not just going to be solely Ineos. I'll just yes, let's stick the stadium right there. There's going to be fundings from, the local council, the governments, and other intermediaries. But also, I think just to focus on the generalised area, because they looked at the SoFi Stadium. Maybe that's probably what they went out there for. They probably went out there to look at the SoFi Stadium and thought, okay, yeah, this is an idea. This is a blueprint. That's what the medias are saying. SoFi Stadium is a blueprint for what they envision the new Old Trafford Stadium to be. Very well facilitated. Got all the different, gadgets and, latest tech, most ideal, ease of access type stadium layout. No, poor maintenance. It's very well looked after, easy to look after, and very easy to get to access. Good transportation links, easy to get to the games, easy to head home from the games, and no troubles and no problems. And I think that's probably, whilst I believe that a lot of old school fans will very much be looking at this and thinking, but I just don't want to say goodbye to Old Trafford. I don't want to have to say goodbye to that stadium because it's been so significant and it's so iconic. It really is. It's one of the most iconic, if not the most iconic stadium in the country. But sometimes, all good things must come to an end. Maybe it's coming to the point that with Old Trafford, the alternative was to spend about 1.2 billion upwards in just costs for refurbishment, to not really get anything more than what is already there, to make it look perhaps a little bit extra shiny. But is it really worth it? And they're talking about the the implication of having to go with a refurbishment that it would require for what they would want to do, it would require for capacity to be diminished for several years in order to fully, complete renovation works. And that would mean a loss in profits, in revenue streams, and things like that. Again, very money centric, very money orientated. And maybe in the case where Manchester United need to have as much money available to their disposal as possible, the concept that you're spending a lot of money to build a 100,000 seater stadium, which is brand spanking new and is going to be the bee's knees when it opens its doors. They reckon it will take 6 years to do that. Meanwhile, you can keep a full capacity with Old Trafford sat just across the road to continue to hosting Manchester United home events per se, and other sporting, events and things like that. But ultimately, kind of like what the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is, right? Kind of like what the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is. I think a lot of people might say, well, it's going to solely be Manchester United and Manchester United Stadium only. I think maybe the ownership may have split, that like the new stadium project may have split ownership, where Old Trafford currently is solely Manchester United's property. Solely Manchester United's property. They may run with the new stadium having split ownership between the club, but also signing rights to the local, to the government essentially, or the local council, so that all the other sporting venues around in and around Manchester, where you use the Etihad, for example, the Etihad is used for other various events, musical concerts, and other athletic stuff. All things like that. Etihad Stadium's got the capabilities to doing things like this. While if you've got a SoFi-like stadium planted right in the middle of Manchester, close to an area of Manchester, which is a bit more sort of like, you go to that end of Manchester for some activities, for some days out and stuff. If you've got a massive centre, a massive venue for not just sports, but fit to use for various other things, the local council could probably say, well, yeah, we'll host it at Manchester United Stadium, at the new Old Trafford, for example. And maybe they secure partial payments and benefits from your revenues from the ticketing at the stadium, or the usage of the venue. So maybe there's some long-term vision with this, where Manchester United, they have this huge stadium, all of these different events coming in, and they walk home with a split of the cut, a cut of the overall revenue stream. So Manchester United can make a lot of money from things that have absolutely nothing to do with football. That would be Avram and Joel Glazer's wet dream. But it's Sir Jim Ratcliffe's idea, and probably a few other people from Ineos as well that have probably looked at that and thought that would be a solid idea. And imagine that that Manchester United, the new stadium, actually has a roof over the pitch. You don't get rainy days or rainy games at home. It's just always dry. Even if it's snow, thundery, stormy, no matter what, stick the roof over. Every game's a dry game. It sounds like a relatively nice idea. It does. It sounds like a relatively nice idea. I can't lie. The idea in principle, it sounds like a great place to go. to enjoy watching my sports, or to go to an event, whether it be musical, whether it be sport, whether it be something else. It sounds like a great place to go. It looks welcoming, it feels welcoming. If we're playing a home game, the rival fans, they walk up to the stadium like, wow, that is impressive, genuinely impressive, and the facilities are second to none. So it leaves a lasting impression. Now, you would have done a good job as well if you get rival fans that are jealous that you've got this as your stadium. That would be the sign of a good, a proper project well done. But it's only ideas right now. They're only plans. They're only figments of imagination, right? We don't know just how far they're going to take this. Maybe take it all the way. Maybe they sort of only get halfway. Maybe they only just cover the basis of having great appeal for sporting events only. Maybe 100,000 seater, it looks a bit more like the Camp Nou, or the new Camp, the Camp Nou. Looks a bit like that, but with a roofing. Maybe that's what ends up happening, but I don't know, guys. You give me your thoughts in the comment section about what you make of this whole big SoFi inspired plan that Sir Jim has for this the stadium renovation / build. And the news is that he favours building from scratch. £2 billion project, however, must say the SoFi Stadium cost about $5 billion plus. $5 billion plus dollars. If you're talking about £2 billion, that's not really going to measure up to a SoFi type sporting venue. So, yeah, interesting to see what £2 billion is going to build. Don't really know, but hey, we'll see. But leave your thoughts and feelings in the comment section down below. Don't forget to smash a like on the video and subscribe and all of that good stuff. And yeah, we'll be back tonight, 8:30 p.m. with episode 3 of season 2, The Good, the Bad and the Ugly Show. So yes, I'm looking forward to it. I hope you guys are too. And yeah, we'll see you again later on tonight. May have an upload across the day, depending on what happens in the transfer front. Maybe something big happens, and we just have to give our thoughts and verdicts on it. But yes, guys, until 8:30 p.m. tonight, goodbye for now, and we'll speak to you again soon. Take care, and yeah, stay safe.